A bill to establish an insurrection trial division has been tabled at the National Assembly's plenary session, which began this morning. As the ruling Democratic Party moves to pass the bill, the main opposition People Power Party has vowed to launch a filibuster. South Korea's presidential office has now officially moved back to its former home, Cheong Wa Dae, also known as the Blue House, a move that was one of President Lee's key campaign pledges. South Korea's consumer regulator has ordered the country's largest mobile carrier, SK Telecom, to compensate millions of customers affected by the company's massive data breach. The measure is not legally binding, but if SK Telecom accepts the mediation proposal, total compensation could exceed $1.5 billion. Hello and thanks for joining us on Arirang News. We begin today at South Korea's National Assembly that's experiencing a standoff as the ruling Democratic Party moves to pass a bill establishing a dedicated trial division for insurrection cases. A revised version of the bill was tabled at Monday's plenary session, limiting the special court to appellate trials. It also excludes non-judicial figures from the judge selection process. While the main opposition People Power Party has launched a filibuster, arguing the bill amounts to judicial overreach and should be scrapped, the DP's majority makes passage likely. The ruling party is also set to advance amendments to the Act on Promotion of Information and Communications Network Utilization and Information Protection, raising the prospect of continued filibuster clashes through the year-end session. After weeks of preparations, the presidential office is entering the final phase of its return to Cheong Wa Dae, the Blue House. With the move nearly complete, the presidential press corps has also relocated, and live briefings will begin there today. Our presidential office correspondent Song Yoo-jin walks us through the return and what the revived Cheong Wa Dae will look like.
For the first time in years, cameras are getting a rare look inside the Yongsan presidential office, where workers are moving wrapped furniture out of the building. The destination? Cheong Wa Dae, also known as the Blue House. After more than 3.5 years, South Korea's top office is heading back to its former home, just behind Gyeongbokgung Palace in downtown Seoul.
The presidential office will now leave the Yongsan era behind and return to the Blue House, the place where the president originally was and belongs.
Returning to Cheong Wa Dae was one of President Lee's key campaign pledges.
청와대를 신속하게 좀 보수해서 그대로 다시 들어가는 게 제일 좋겠다.
He has argued that the compound is better equipped with established security, protocol, and diplomatic infrastructure, making it more cost-efficient and operationally effective. The previous Yoon Suk-yeol administration relocated the presidential office to the Defense Ministry compound in 2022, saying that Cheong Wa Dae symbolized an overly centralized imperial presidency distant from the public. Since August, Cheong Wa Dae has been closed to visitors, so it could undergo renovation work in preparation for the return. So what will the revived presidential compound look like? The layout itself remains largely unchanged. The main building houses the president's office and reception rooms. Yeonmin-gwan buildings 1 through 3 serve as offices for his aides. There is also the Yeonmin-gwan State Guest House, the Chunchu-gwan Press Center, and the presidential residence. What will change is how the space is used. President Lee plans to work primarily from Yeonmin-gwan rather than the main building to streamline communication and decision-making. The presidential residence, however, will not be used immediately as additional refurbishment is required. Most of the relocation is expected to be completed around Christmas, with President Lee likely to begin officially commuting to Cheong Wa Dae from his current residence in Hannam-dong toward the end of the year.
The Lee administration says that moving back to the Blue House will not mean a return to its old image, which was often criticized as closed and authoritarian. Officials say they plan to expand online live streams of President Lee's official engagements, as well as minimize security restrictions around the area. And while access will be limited, the administration plans to reopen Cheong Wa Dae to visitors next year. Song Yoo-jin, Arirang News.
Meanwhile, South Korean mobile carrier SK Telecom is now facing mounting pressure after regulators ruled it should compensate millions of customers affected by a massive data breach. Our Muniran reports.
South Korea's Consumer Protection Agency has issued a ruling over a major SK Telecom data breach that exposed the SIM card information of 23 million subscribers last April, which triggered widespread disruption as users replaced SIMs. The Consumer Dispute Mediation Committee under the Korea Consumer Agency ruled that personal data had been leaked and that consumer harm had occurred, determining that SK Telecom bears responsibility for compensation. The ruling follows a collective mediation request filed in May by 58 affected subscribers. After 3 rounds of deliberations, the committee approved a compensation proposal worth 100,000 Korean won, just under $68 per person. Compensation will not be paid in cash. Instead, if the compensation plan goes ahead, subscribers will receive a discount of about $30 on mobile service fees, along with an equal amount in points usable at affiliated partner stores, including convenience stores and bakeries. The committee added that SK Telecom's previously offered 50% discount on August mobile service fees will be deducted from the total compensation amount. It also emphasized that the ruling does not constitute a legal determination of liability under privacy laws, but is aimed at prioritizing swift consumer relief following the data breach. If SK Telecom accepts the mediation proposal, it will carry the same legal effect as a court settlement. The company has 15 days from receiving the decision to notify the committee whether it will accept the terms. The committee has also stated that, if accepted, the compensation plan would apply to not only the 58 applicants, but to all 23 million subscribers affected by the data leak. If fully implemented, the total compensation could reach above $1.5 billion. SK Telecom said it will carefully review the decision before making a final determination. The company has already taken follow-up measures, including SIM replacements for all subscribers and a separate customer compensation package, and was fined more than $91 million by the Personal Information Protection Commission. With the mediation ruling potentially adding another trillion-won level financial burden, SK Telecom's decision is being closely watched. 문혜련, Arirang News.
South Korea and Russia have reportedly held closed-door talks in Moscow on North Korea's nuclear program and broader regional security issues. Now, that's according to diplomatic sources on Sunday, who said a South Korean foreign ministry official in charge of North Korean nuclear affairs recently visited Moscow and met with Oleg Burmistrov, Russia's ambassador at large for the North Korean nuclear issue, along with other Russian officials. During the meetings, the South Korean side reportedly urged Russia to play a constructive role in maintaining peace on the Korean peninsula, as Seoul looks to resume dialogue with North Korea next year. However, Russia's foreign ministry has denied claims that the meetings amounted to official negotiations on North Korea's nuclear program. Over in the United States, more than a dozen files which contain documents related to Jeffrey Epstein have disappeared from the U.S. Justice Department's public webpage. While the Democrats called for greater transparency, a top Trump administration official defended the decision, saying it was necessary to protect survivors of sexual abuse. Our Lee Seung-jae has the details.
At least 16 files have disappeared from the U.S. Justice Department's public webpage containing documents related to Jeffrey Epstein, less than 24 hours after they were posted, with no explanation from the government and no public notice. The missing files were available on Friday but were no longer accessible by Saturday. They included several images, among them paintings depicting nude women and a photograph showing a series of images arranged along a credenza and inside drawers. One of those images showed a photograph of Donald Trump alongside Epstein, Melania Trump, and Epstein's longtime associate Ghislaine Maxwell. The unexplained removal of the files has fueled speculation online over what was taken down and why the public was not notified, intensifying long-standing scrutiny surrounding Epstein and his connections to powerful figures. Democrats on the House Oversight Committee highlighted the missing image featuring Trump in a post on X, calling for greater transparency. Tens of thousands of pages were made public Friday, but critics say the material offered little new insight into Epstein's crimes or the prosecutorial decisions that allowed him to avoid serious federal charges for years. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche on Sunday defended the limited release, saying the department was required to balance transparency with the need to protect survivors of sexual abuse. Speaking on NBC's Meet the Press, Blanche said continued document review was necessary to prevent harm to victims.
And so we learned after releasing that photograph that there were concerns about those women and the fact that we had put that photo up. So we pulled that photo down. It has nothing to do with President Trump. There are dozens of photos of President Trump already released to the public, seeing him with Mr. Epstein.
He said the Trump administration remains committed to meeting its legal obligations to release the files, but emphasized that the process would take time. For now, the unexplained disappearance of the documents has only intensified calls for clarity, accountability, and fuller disclosure in a case that continues to raise questions years after Epstein's death. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
Downtown Seoul has rolled out a range of winter events, drawing visitors from across the country and beyond. And among them is a large Christmas market near Gwanghwamun Square, as Christmas is just a few days away. Our culture correspondent Park Gun-woo brings us the holiday spirit.
Long lines, but no complaints. Only smiles and anticipation. People patiently wait near Gwanghwamun Square in central Seoul, as if something magical is about to happen. As visitors pass through the entrance, the scene feels like stepping into a Christmas fairy tale. As soon as the sun goes down, the Christmas market lights turn on. Christmas is nearly here and people are enjoying the Christmas vibe. The most popular spot is this 50-meter landmark Christmas tree where people take nice pictures and make long-lasting memories with their loved ones. Inside the market, it's bustling with visitors, while hundreds of vendors sell everything from Christmas goods to local handmade items, including Rudolph-shaped candles, colorful wrapping cloths, and traditional lucky pouches. Photo spots are everywhere, like this merry-go-round, which is especially popular with families with children.
It really feels like Christmas and is such a nice experience. There's so much for the kids to enjoy: the merry-go-round, photo spots, and even small things to buy.
An interesting twist for them is that these shops change every week through the end of the month, giving visitors a magical chance to discover something new each time they come.
Winter is usually the off-season here, especially at night. But tourists still need things to see and enjoy after dark. That's why we created this, and we plan to expand it even further.
There are visitors from across the globe, such as European tourists, familiar with traditional Christmas markets back home.
We didn't realize that Christmas is quite so popular here. I certainly wasn't expecting to see a Christmas market. It's absolutely beautiful. The light show was fantastic. Everyone seems really happy.
As night falls, the lights become even more dazzling. And the celebration doesn't stop here. Just a short walk away, Cheongcheon Stream is glowing with its light festival, running through early January. The displays are made of Korean traditional paper hanji, featuring illuminated sculptures that blend tradition with modern design. One standout is the Pokemon character Magikarp, as it's gone viral on social media, drawing even more visitors. Together, the Gwanghwamun Market and Cheongcheon Light Festival have already attracted around 1.5 million visitors in just over a week. Due to high popularity, operating hours have recently been extended by around an hour, and the Seoul Tourism Organization now aims to welcome 6 million visitors this season. And thanks to all of that, downtown Seoul's winter nights are feeling much warmer, brighter, and just a little more magical than ever before. Park Gun-woo, Arirang News.
This is The World Now, bringing you everything you need to know from around the globe. The United States says recent talks with Ukraine and European partners on ending the war with Russia were productive and constructive, White House envoy Steve Witkoff met with Ukrainian and European representatives in Florida to align on a shared strategic approach. Simultaneously, Kremlin envoy Kirill Dmitriev held discussions with U.S. officials in Miami, describing the negotiations as constructive. While President Zelensky noted that diplomatic efforts are moving quickly, the Kremlin denied that there were any preparations for formal three-way talks involving the U.S., Russia, and Ukraine. In South Africa, a mass shooting at a township pub near Johannesburg has killed 9 people and wounded at least 10 others. Police say multiple gunmen arrived in vehicles and began shooting patrons just before 1 a.m. Sunday local time in Berkersdale, west of Johannesburg, before fleeing the scene. Authorities confirmed the attackers used an assault rifle and handguns, and that some victims were shot randomly in nearby streets. The motive still remains unknown, and police have launched a manhunt. The shooting comes amid growing concern over rising gun violence across the country. Israel has approved 19 new Jewish settlements in the occupied West Bank, a move that raises tensions over the future of a Palestinian state. The cabinet's decision on Sunday increases the total number of settlements in the West Bank to more than 200, marking a record expansion under Israel's current far-right government. The move comes as the U.S. pushes for a Gaza ceasefire plan that includes a pathway to Palestinian statehood, an outcome these settlements are designed to prevent. International law widely considers these settlements as illegal. A muddy eruption burst from Black Diamond Pool in Yellowstone National Park, sending debris into the air as cameras captured the rare event. U.S. Geological Survey scientists say the eruption occurred Saturday morning in Biscuit Basin, an area previously damaged by a hydrothermal explosion last year. Researchers say new monitoring equipment is now helping track these unpredictable geothermal eruptions. Chu Ji-hyun, Arirang News.
Today marks the winter solstice, and the morning cold was pretty harsh this morning. A cold wave advisor has been issued for parts of Gyeongsang-do provinces, where temperatures have dropped more than 10 degrees overnight. And today stays colder than average for this time of year, but the temperature will slowly climb during the day, and it's going to stay above norms through Christmas Eve, but the big chill returns on Christmas Day. But this afternoon, highs will reach 4 degrees Celsius here in Seoul, which is a couple of degrees higher than yesterday. Daegu gets up to 8 degrees under mostly sunny skies with good air quality nationwide. Then 5 to 20 millimeters of rain is in the forecast between Tuesday and Wednesday morning, which will bring colder air to the country. So by the latter part of the week, even daytime temperatures will very struggle to rise above freezing. So plan accordingly for your Christmas weekend.
That's all we have for today's noon edition of Arirang News. Thank you for watching. We'll be back at 5 p.m. Korea time. Stay tuned.